Okay, so we're in Kufta Samad base. And the question was, the Mishnah was a case of two sisters, Gdola and Ketana, that were married to two brothers, and the husband of the Gdola died. Means the Gdola is the Raisa marriage and the Ketana is the Rabbanan marriage. And with the Raisa, there's supposed to be a Yibum happening, but the marriage of the Rabbanan and the Ketana, which is married to Rabbanan, she's interfering because the husband cannot the husband of the Ketana cannot do Yibum because there's a wife sister in the way. The wife sister is not really a wife sister; she's not really a wife. So that was the question of the Gemara: how do you deal with such a situation? And Rabbi Elazar said that tell the Ketana to do miyun, and that way the whole thing is absolved and everything's fine. Go ahead with the Yibum. And Rabbi Gamliel said that if she does that, fine, but if not, then she can wait until she gets bigger, and then her kedushin, her marriage is going to set in with the Raisa, and then the Yevama gets sent away because the Yavam is an erba to the brother, the live brother is the erba to the.
If she waits,
she waits till she grows up, and now there's going to be a kedushin deraisa. Now she'll be married. So now, even though initially when the Gedola's husband died, she fell to Yibum, but things changed because now she became the Yavam's sister-in-law. That's one way. The wife's his wife's sister. You got a wife now, his wife's sister. So there's no Yibum to a wife's sister. So that was what we're holding now. So that was Rabbi Gamliel. It's possible to open the window just to get a little air. Okay, so Rabbi Gamliel says, if she did that, that's fine. But if not, so then wait till she gets big, and then her kedushin will kick in the Raisa, and then there's no Yibum because she became an Arab. Rabbi Elazar, May Rav. Rabbi Elazar asked Rav, Rav, my timer, the Rabbi Gamliel. What is the reason of Rabbi Gamliel? Because Gemara is going to have two choices. Why Rabbi Gamliel says that if she grows up, now she's going to become officially married to her husband, and then she's going to send away the sister. Tells the sister, you're not giving him anymore to my husband because it's really my husband now. So you're a wife's sister, and therefore you're sent away. One side is Mishum Dekala. Maybe we just highlight that. Is it because Tad number one, Mishum Tekasava Kidushe Kitana Misla Talu Vichigadla Gadli Bada. Maybe the reason is because even though the kedushin of the minor sister was only Mirabana, but it's hanging, and when she grows up, it grows together with her. It means as soon as she becomes an adult, the kedushin becomes the Raisa. She was married on a Rabbanan level, and that stays Rabbanan as long as she's a Ketana. When she grows up, even if nothing is done further, she becomes automatically a kedushin Raisa. And according to that side, Afagav the Lobol. According to that side, even if there was no relations, he didn't have relations with his wife. He had relations, but she was a Ketana. The husband has relations with his wife, the Ketana, when she's a Ketana. And since she grew up, since her Bas Mitzvah, they never had relations. But even so, the Kedushin automatically became Doraisa. That's one side. Second side is, Dilma. A little different color for that. Dilma. Mishum, Tekasava, Hamakade, Shachos Yavama, Niftara Yavama, Vahalchala. Maybe not because she was already married a bit, but Rabbanan, and that Rabbanan marriage turns into a Doraisa. And then it comes also, Rashi says retroactively that she's married the whole time at the Raisa level. But the reason is because even if there was nothing before, she was married by Rabbanan is nothing. But even if there be two sisters and a man's brother sister fell to him to Yibum, and then he decided to be Mekadesh the Yevama's sister. Also, he tells the Yevama to go, that the Yevama goes free. What does that mean? That even, and according to that side, according to that, it's only because he was Mekadesh. Means that not that the kedushin of the Ketana automatically turns into a Daraisa, and even retroactively, but nothing happened before. The fact that she was married before kedushin Rabbanan doesn't help at all. It's only because now he married her. Since she became a Gedola, after her Bas Mitzvah, he married her. He had relations with her. That relations is considered a new marriage, and even that is enough also to take away the Yibum.
How does that work in the rules?
According to the second side,
what does it mean?
You read the word Yivama before. Nifta yevama.
Mekadesh.
Oh, you did it right. You read it right.
Yevama.
Hamakadesh achos yevama, comma nifta yevama b'holchala. If somebody marries the sister of the yevamos falling to him, someone's sister-in-law, his brother's wife, fell to him to yibum, and now he goes before he does yibum, he marries his mekadesh, the sister of the yevama. So now the yevama goes free. Nifta yevama b'holchala. She gets potter. She goes because now she can't marry the yavam because it's the wife's sister. And even though it happened afterwards, you might say, she says, I'm first, my Zika was first. But no, because the Kedushin overrides. And if the sister had Kedushin, even after the Yibum, she fell to Yibum, the Yibam goes home. And according to this,
means that she grew up?
No. On the Kaddish, which where are you reading? The first side or the second side?
No, the second side is when she's still a katana.
No, that the katana is nothing. And now, after she grew up,
He did Kedushin.
Once he did Kedushin to his wife, he had relations. He had relations with his wife. He had a katana as a wife since he's 10 years old, and all that is older Rabbanan. After her bas mitzvah, the first time he has relations with her, that's going to be a Kedushin Daraisa now. Now she's bas mitzvah. That's enough. That's going to be the Kedushin.
That's in terms of the two questions.
Right, because according to the
did he have relations?
Right.
That's why, or he didn't even have relations and automatically kicked.
Right. The first side is that automatically the Kedushin Ketana turns into a Kedushin Gedola, even if he doesn't do anything. And the second side is that nothing. That the Kedushin Ketana is nothing. It's only because now he had relations, and that makes the new Kedushin, and now it becomes a Kedushin Daraisa. And according to this, Rabbi Gamliel only meant that you have to wait until he has relations with her after bas mitzvah. That was Rabbi Elazar's question to Ram. What's Rabbi Gamliel? The first side, and according to the first side, even if he didn't have relations with his wife, and according to the second side, Dafka if he had relations, he bought in, he bought low.
You would think that's the first side.
You would think the first side?
Yeah, for sure.
What, that the Kedushin automatically becomes the Raisa?
Once it becomes Gedola, that's it.
Why should it come to Raisa? There wasn't anything done. The Raisa, nothing happened.
Now, when you married, there was no rice.
How they married the Raisa? What happened? Made it the Raisa? They got married 2 years ago when she's a 10-year-old. And now she became Gedola. Not by the father. The Kedushin Rabbanan, right? And now she grew up, she became bas mitzvah. So what happened? She became bas mitzvah. Now she's bas mitzvah. So what happened? Like, how do we say?
She can't meet him anymore.
She can't do mian anymore. Fine, she can't do mian. Let's say, but where did she become married to this husband? She's in his house. Yichud doesn't make marriage. Doesn't make. You have to make marriage. You have to do a marriage.
But if she can't do mian, then she's stuck with him.
Okay, maybe she needs a get, but doesn't make a marriage. We'll learn more about the mian also. The mian also.
She needs a get. Doesn't that mean she's married?
Maybe only Rabbanan. I think only on Rabbanan level. You don't make a deraisa out of it.
Oh.
That's the question. That she become married to the Raisa. Rashi even throws in according to the first side, somehow it works retroactively. That's a chiddush also. And therefore, okay, even if Afagav the Lobal Dilma, only it's not the past is nothing. It's only because now he married her, and according to that, only if he had relations after she became a Gedola. That was the question. That was the question to Ram. Amalei, so Ram said, Hainu Tabi Ram Gamliel, the second side. And according to that, he bought in, he took the second side. That doesn't automatically grow up into a Kedushin Daraisa. It's only if you had relations after she became a Gedola. That was what Ram said.
But according to the first side, they don't have any relationship. She would still need to get.
Yes, maybe. The question there's a different subject. It's not here. Till when could she do mian? Is it when she becomes a Gedola by bas mitzvah, means with 2 hairs? Maybe she has to, maybe more. Is it machok? Is about that? I think the process is when she becomes bas mitzvah, she can't do, and with bas mitzvah means with 2 hairs.
Right.
Then she can't anymore do mian. But I don't know the sugi well enough. Then she need to get. But it's only Rabbanan. It only comes the Raisa after they had relations. That was what Rav said. On Rav Sheshes, when I said, this is Rav Shesh's opinion, expression, when he wants to argue with Rav. So he says that when Rav was sleeping, he said this, means he was tired. That if he said, couldn't have said such a thing. If he said it, it must have been because he's tired. The Chafetz Chaim says this is a Lashon Kavod. He's not insulting him. Right. He's saying, on the contrary, that he's so smart that he wouldn't have said such a thing if he would have, unless he was tired. So he's saying that he's wrong. Rav Sheshes is saying that he's wrong because he has a brisa that seems to be like the first time. The Tanya, Makadesh Haseptana, Kiddushat Luyin. That was the brisa that if somebody married a Ketana, a Kiddushin Rabbanan, he married her when she was still a Ketana. So the brisa says her marriage, her Kiddushin, is hanging. That's the words of the brisa. So what is
hanging? It sounds like it didn't automatically kick in.
No, he says he thinks that it is. Rav Sheshes thinks that the words mean that it's hanging until she becomes a Gedola. It's like it's on hold. It's a limbo kind of thing. It's waiting. What's it waiting for? It's waiting until to go up. That's what my tluyin. What does it mean? Lav kigodla gadli bada. Doesn't it mean that when she grows up, it grows together with her? And I forgot the low ball. Listen to Bryce and Beferish, like the first side, that happens automatically. Amalei Ravin Breder of Nachman, Ravin Breder of Nachman said to Rav Sheshes, no, it doesn't mean that. It means, like Rabbi Yaakov said, the issue of the girl is hanging, Yibal in, Yilo Baal lo. It's happening, it's hanging, not if she grows up, not if that she comes to Bas Mitzvah. It's hanging until he's ball her. That it's a small change. Not the Gemara makes it a bit more words. I'm not sure why the Gemara says so many words, but the Gemara is just saying that it's hanging. What is it hanging for? Not till her Bas Mitzvah. It's hanging until he does Bia. If he's going to have relations after Bas Mitzvah, then it's going to kick in. Then not going to kick in. Then it's going to happen. Maybe the kasha is that it's not. It's a new thing. It's a new thing that's happening. It's not the old one. When he has relations after Bas Mitzvahs, because that's the marriage. So maybe Rav Sheshes don't like that. But the Gemara is saying that it doesn't necessarily mean that the kedushin changes to become automatically. It means if he has relations afterwards, then it'll become a marriage. But it's not a raya against Rav, and Rav seems to stick to what he says, that it's only if he has relations after the Bas Mitzvah, after she becomes a gedola, then it becomes a kedushin daraisa, and then it'll send away the yevama. But that's because she became a gedola doesn't make the kedushin daraisa, and the yevama is not free yet. The next words here it says in the Gemara, the amra. Who adif minoi v'ana adif naminei. The words are a bit vague. The words mean she says he's better than me and I'm better than him. So what does that mean? So Rashi says that on one hand he has a choice. Rashi says he could give me a get if he wants to, and I could do me and if I want to. But it's a bit, which is true, as long as a Ketani could have those choices. So I'm not sure about Rashi, but there's another Gersa, and they take the word the Amar. This word's the Amar, they changed to Amar. Rav Sheshes said he liked the pshat. He said that even though I brought the brisa, but he had a nice pshat in the brisa. He's better than me. I'm better than him. I had the brisa, I had the information, but he had the pshat, and the pshat is better than my pshat. That's how the Gaonim say. The Ramban brings down the Gaonim that that's the pshat in these words. But anyway, what did the Gemara say so far? Just to make it short, the Rav Gamliel in the Mishnah said that if you have this case with the young sister that's in the way of the Yibum, so if she does and fine. If not, when she gets older. But the way Rav explains it, now not that she got older. She also has to have had relations after she got older. That'll make her kedushin daraisa, and then the sister goes free because the Yavam cannot marry her because he has his wife. It's his wife's sister, and that happens according to the Gemara now. It happens only after he has relations. The Gemara, yes.
Why do we have no problem over here
No, we said if you do me in is fine. Here we said if you do me, she does me in fine. If not, then there's Asa to wait. I mean, she doesn't have to lose her husband. If she does me, she loses her husband, and her sister got him. But if she wants to wait till she's a gedola, and she'll get married with her Raisa to this husband, and then the sister will go away. We just said machok. Machok is if you hold yesh zika, ain't
She's
zika.
going to lose him anyway.
We said if you hold yesh zika, that's what we said. If you hold yesh zika, then she's not. But if you hold here, the Gemara is saying that there's this possibility to wait until she becomes bigger, and then she's going to win. Rashi seems to say that he holds ein zika, but the Gemara doesn't go into it. The Gemara continues. The Sava Rav Ibal in the lo lo. Now we're asking Rav. Rav came out that only if you have relations after marriage, then does this marriage become the vice? If not, now. And the Gemara is conscious on a steer in Rav. Well, itmar. Ketana shalom miyana v'gdila v'amdav. It says, what if there was a ketana that was married a kedushin d'Rabbanan and she didn't refuse? She never did miyah, and she grew up, and she got married to somebody else.
Just went out and got married.
She didn't ask anybody. She just kind of got married to somebody else. So that she needed to get from the second one. Is she considered? Do we tell her, Mrs. Floney, you're married already. This marriage is nothing. You're married already. Rav Amma ain't tzricha get misheni. She does need to get from the second husband because she's married to the first husband. And Shmuel Amma tzricha get misheni. She does need to get. Now here it doesn't say she had relations after she grew up. It just says Ketana Shalom Yana Big Dila, and she got married to somebody else. The way we learned so far, it didn't change into a kedushin daraisa only if she had relations. And here she got married to somebody else. So that's really kedushin then. Maybe
if she's 12.
She's 12 and she didn't have relations with the first husband ever since.
Right. Oh, ever since.
She had relations when she was a
When she
kana,
was
but
a
that's
kid.
not that right. So that's that 10, 11, that's nothing. And then she became a gedolah. She didn't have relations with him. She got married to somebody else. So if you say that she's not really married to the first one, then it automatically kick in. Only if they have relations, they didn't have relations. She got married to somebody else. So she's married to the second one. So how could you leave her over there? Rav says, "Ain't tzricha get misheni." She doesn't need a get. It means she's married to the first one. Why is she married to the first one? Rav, you yourself say that the first marriage only becomes the right after she has relations, and she didn't.
The get means from the
From
second.
this, it says Misheni. It says get Misheni. She doesn't need to get from the second one because she's married to the first one. Shmuel says she does need to get from the second because with the right says she's not married to the first one. So she does need to get from the second one because she really is married to him with the right, and we're not going to let her
She's really married to who?
to the second one because the first one was not a real marriage.
Well, why does she need to get there?
So why did you let her stay there? It could be that since Rabbanan she was married to the first one. It is Rabbanan. We're not going to let her go around and marrying somebody else, but we have to take care of it. And this is you're married. So get divorced from this new marriage that you did. She kicked in a kedusha deraisa to override her marriage with Rabbanan. So we forced her out of that new marriage.
Even though it wasn't a real marriage, the first one.
Right, but that we can understand.
The first one,
I'm not sure because I'm not sure because
she married out of wedlock.
yeah, but it wasn't real wedlock. It was only with Rabbanan. But the right said she wasn't
No,
married.
the second one.
The second one was a real marriage.
So
You're
now
holding.
she go back to the first one.
Why not?
Relationship. She got married. You can't marry somebody who had a marriage. You can't marry somebody.
With the
It
right,
was an average.
Oh, it wasn't even a
with
marriage.
the right, it wasn't a marriage. So tzricha get misheni l'chor means she goes back to the first one, and we tell her stay here. You're here. You're in the first one. Even though with the Rabbanan you're only here, and then when the right she went someplace else, we get her out of that one.
She's not very happy.
Okay. So anyway, but that's more kasha. Top of the page. My love the lo bo. Isn't the case that doesn't say, it just says that she grew up and she married somebody else. It doesn't say that she had relations with the first one, and then it's a kasha on Rav because Rav holds a low ball. Then she is not married to the first one, and second marriage is gonna take over. So how could Rav say she does not need to get? The Gemara says low doesn't mean that the ball. The case, even though it doesn't say so, means that they did have relations. So we're saying now the case that it said before that Rav says she does not need to get from the second is only provided that she had relations with the first one after she became bas mitzvah over here. We're going to put in Katana Shalomiyana Vigdila Nivala to the first husband, and then Amdavan says, then Rav says, then Tzricha get Misheni because that was a full marriage. The first one, you made a new marriage out of it. Now the kasha is the other way. Then why Shmuel say Tzricha get? If she even had relations after the first one, so why in the world does she need to get from the second one? It's a full marriage to the first one. Either by time with the Shmuel. So why should Shmuel say she does not need to get? She does need to get from the second one. However, she was already married to the first one. The answer is because Shmuel holds that when someone has relations because of a marriage, they're not doing it as a new marriage. They're going back on das to the first marriage. It means this girl after bas mitzvah, they continue having relations. They didn't make a whole ceremony to get married. They just continued having relations. She was married to him since she's 10 and they had relations the whole time. Then she became bas mitzvah. They continued having relations. So he's not intending to make a new kedusha. He's just continuing with whatever we did before.
He's saying it's still not a real thing.
It's still not a real thing. Even if they had relations, unless they're going to make l'shem, kedusha, and whatever, I don't know what you have to do. But the fact that he just continued having relations doesn't necessarily mean he's making a new kedusha. He's doing it with whatever intention. I married you before. I'm continuing on the same basis. So if the kedusha was Rabbanan, even though she became a mitzvah and they still continue having relations, it doesn't make it a kedusha deraisa. On that, Rav argues. Rav says once they had relations after marriage, that makes the marriage deraisa. The Gemara says we know this machlokus. This is old machlokus already. Why are they repeating themselves? But this machlokus Rav and Shmuel we spoke about someplace else. Itmar kitchal tanai becomes a stam. What if a person married? We know again this kedushin and the su in two stages in marriage. First one is away from kedushin. The second one is when they consummate their marriage and have relations. So it says he made kedushin on a condition.
What was the condition?
Whatever the condition, make up a condition.
Oh, make it. And then what does it mean? The concept.
And then Rashi says a condition. Rashi says that she has no blemish. He's marrying on the condition he wasn't able to check out. On the condition you have no blemish. If she has a physical blemish, not a marriage. But then the Maisa, when he had relations with her, he didn't say b'shas Maisa, I'm making the su and I'm going to have the relations with you on that condition. He didn't repeat his condition. He made kedushin a year ago, and he said, "I'll make the kedushin." No. New case, a big girl, 18-year-old. He married her. And he gave a kedushin, I read from Kedeshasli, and he said, "Al manas that you have no blemish, so that you have no nedorim, whatever the condition was, and al manas that you don't daven nusach Ashkenaz, whatever, and it comes whatever the condition was. And then we had relations. He didn't again repeat the tanai. He just took relations down. That's constant down without talking out any new condition.
Yeah.
What's the question? Is he still doing this new act of Nisuin still based on the condition, and he's still making it conditional or not?
I would think maybe not. Oh,
What's the mark?
because it's not, it's a lesser marriage. Erusin or Kedushin is not a marriage, not a full marriage.
Again, there was Kedushin. The first thing, he gave her a ring, he said, Almanas, that you're perfect. And a year later, he consummated the marriage without saying anything, without the Tanai. And the question is, does he mean to say, now I'm going ahead with it unconditional? Or he still has in mind the first condition? It's machlokes. Rav says that they're married, and even if the condition is not fulfilled, she needs a get, because since when he had relations with her, he didn't repeat the condition, so now he's doing it unconditional already. But Shmuel says that the Tanai is still binding, and the Gemara explains. The Gemara explains now. Since he now took her, consummated the marriage, so he's mochel the Tanai. The Tanai is over. He's not continuing with the same Tanai that he made the kedushin originally. But Shmuel why? That's kedushin rishonim. Whoever has relations, he's doing it on the condition of whatever reason he made the kedushin. So the Gemara says we find this machlokes. It's true, two different scenarios, but the same question. Before it's talking about that he married her when she's a ketana, and he continued having relations after she's a gedola, and Shmuel would say, since he's just having relations based on that previous kedushin, which was when she was a ketana, or this case that he made a nesuah now based on the kedushin that was when she had a tanai. So Shmuel's consistent, and Rav's also consistent. Both times he says once he does the nesuah, he's making a new thing. Once he makes the bia, so why are they repeating themselves? It's the same machlokes. The Gemara answers, Sricha, that you do need that, even though it's the same yisod, but you might think that one is a bigger chiddush than one is more a chiddush than the other. The question, the gears over here, just the Rashi has different gears than the Gemara, so just to read Rashi, and also we'll do the Bach. The Bach changes the gears according to Rashi. If you want to see on the side, we'll do Rashi's gears. Tzricha, that's the aleph in the Bach, right? Yeah. So it says here, the itma baha kama Rav mishum deleka tanai, aval baha dika tanai, ema moida l'shmuel. That even if Rav said that when he had it, she was married on a kedushin and Rabbanan because she was a ketana, and then when she becomes a gedola, so Rav says that he's doing it full speed ahead, like a new one. But if there's a tanai is different. Maybe we would also say the same thing. Maybe if you made a condition, maybe the condition is still binding. Not necessarily that now. Even over there when there's no tanai, so then now he's having relations after she's a gedola. So then it's with not aldas the first marriage that was rabban. Now he's making kedushin deraisa. But over here, maybe when there's a tanai, it's more to the shmol that the tanai is still binding. Aldas kedushin shangir. He comes shmol avabayim a model later. The other way, maybe shmol only meant to say when there's a tanai, the favorish a tanai. So then he'll say that he's still going with the tanai. But by the case of the Ketan that became a gedola, maybe over there he also agrees that now he's making a new marriage and not continuing the Rabbanan marriage. So therefore you have to argue both times. But the Maisa, the Yisesh Machlokes with Rav and Shmuel both times. And as far as Rav, we still go back. Rav still holds what he said, that the marriage doesn't happen automatically. It doesn't get upgraded automatically when she becomes a gedola. Then it becomes a kedushin deraisa. Only if they had relations after the marriage, after she became a gedola. Next point. The same still, the more still argue. It's not considered a rice until they have relations. There was a tzad.
It's not relations.
Yeah. But the Gemara before, earlier, a few lines earlier, it's entertained the possibility that when she becomes a gedola, automatically becomes kedushin deraisa even without a bia. That was the question. And that's what the Gemara said. This was the Gemara. That's the Gemara from the beginning. A couple of lines earlier. Let me just find that. A couple of lines earlier that said when the Gemara started today, so it said aside that that even if that was one side, that Rav said, not Rav said like the second side only after Bia, and that the Gemara is conscious, and these are the Gemara's to listen. The Gemara again, now asks again, Rav, Kibal in or Ibal in lo. Are you saying, as Rav said, that if she doesn't have relations after she became a gedola, doesn't become kedushin deraisa? Vahi uvda dava ben Narash. There was a story in the city called Narash. Ve'ikdisha kishehi ktana ve'gadla, and she got married kedushin when she was a ktana. Then she grew up. Va'oisfei abei kursaya. Rashi says it means they put her onto the chuppah, like the Saturday, not a chuppah, like a college chair. They put her onto the college chair. They're making a chasana. And somebody else came and grabbed her. It means the second person married her. So again, she was a ketana, and then when she grew up, they were going to make like the chasana kind of thing. And Rashi says at this point, the Gemara thinks that to make the chuppah means that there was no relations yet.
There was no relations.
And somebody else came and married her. So what do you say? Now we're going to say that according to Rav, what would we say according to Rav? That she is married to the second one because the first one never consummated, not consummated. The first one never made the marriage d'oraisa because it was all going on Rabbana. Rav Brona, Rav Hanana, who atamid the Rav Havasam. That's the point that they were students of Rav. These two people, Rav Brona and Rav Hanana, and they were there. Although it's Richua Gita Mibasra, they didn't say that she's a guy from the second. That means that she's married to the first one. And Hamida the Rav holds that if she didn't have relations with the husband after she became a Gedola, it doesn't become into a Gedosh and Daraisa. Rav Papa answers, Ben Arash, in that city, that putting onto the Chakala chair was done in that place, was done after they had relations. So the case was had relations. Means here also the same answer again. Had relations. You thought they didn't have relations? No, if they didn't have relations, Rav will say that it's not a kedusha deraisa. It only becomes a kedusha deraisa after they have relations. Rashi has another terrorist to explain over there what happened in Rash, who was a shloka again. This man, second one who chopped her away. The second one, Chatva, he grabbed her. Of course, he had to convince her, but he grabbed her and it was really wrong. Somebody else is making a chuppah, he's taking away his wife. That's a terrible thing. What are you doing? So because he did improperly, so therefore the Rabbanan acted with him improperly. Really, she wasn't married to the first one because they didn't have relations. Like the story was, college share, no, not relations. And really, she was not married to the first one, and still they took away from the second one and gave back to the first one. Why is that? The Rabbanan went against him, and they what would the word be? They made that his kedushin shouldn't be anything. It means the second one who married her, the Rabbanan disqualified. They disqualified the second one's marriage, even though legally it would have been a good marriage. Rabbanan disqualified it. How you disqualify a marriage? That's good if he would have. How did he do it? If he would have given money, so then they could disqualify by saying Hefker Bezin Hefker, and it's not your money. And even though he gave her money, it's not his money, so it wasn't kedushin, and he's not married to the second one. Go back to the first one. But Kaddish B'Bia, what's going to be if he was Mekadosh by an act of Bia? So then, how are you going to do over there that it shouldn't be kedushin? And then Moshe says they can do that also. So Rashi says when a person gets married, he says Kedas Moshe Yisrael. If he gives a ring, and even if he doesn't Bia, he's going to say Avet Mekudesh Shasli B'Bia Zu. Kedas Moshe Yisrael. And Moshe Yisrael is not asking. Moshe Yisrael says, no, we don't agree to such a marriage. Even if he did the Maisa Kedushin with a Maisa Bia, so we say the Maisa Bia is just a Bia's nus. It's not a marriage, and you're not married, you might go back to the first husband. So the kasha was, Rav says that the marriage of the Ketana doesn't become a Gedola, doesn't become Kedushin Daraisa, a marriage Daraisa only after they had relations, after she became a Gedola, and that's Rav's position. And there were a couple of kashas where Rav seemed to say different. Each time the Gemara said Rav said different, it says no, the case was that there was a Bia. Only if there was in one case, the Gemara Barabashi, that even if there was no Bia, but the second guy who chopped her away, we're not going to let him have her, and we say go back to the first one, and the second one's Kedushin is disqualified. Back to the Mishnah. What do you do in this case? We had three opinions in the Mishnah yesterday's case. That there were two sisters, one Gedola, one Ketana, and the husband of the Gedola died, and the woman's falling to the husband of the Ketana, and she's in the wave. So Rav Elazar said, tell her to do me. Well, I'm going to say Ketana Shetamoyin, tell her to do me, and that's what we pass. Tell her to do me, and she's not, and also Yezika, so she's not going to be able to stay married anyway because of host Kukaso. To me and let your sister have him, and we'll get you a good shidduch for the Ketana also. Next Mishnah. This goes a little. It would have been better to have a chart, but as you say, lo nora. Like we'll do it without a chart also. I think I'll be able to follow. Someone was married to two Yisomos. He had two wives. Both of them were Drabanan. One man, two wives. Both of them were Drabanan. Because both of them were Yisomos, means no fathers. The fathers didn't marry them. What was the brother and the mother? So it's only Kedushin Drabanan. He had two wives Drabanan. Umeis, and he died without children. So the same thing we would do by the Raisa marriage, so we do on Drabanan marriage. That on the Raisa level, there could have been such a case. The person had two wives, and they fall to Yibum. So Yibum or Chalisa is done to one of them, and the other one goes free. You don't have to do to both. You don't do to both of them, just to one. So too, the whole story here is on Drabanan level. He has two Drabanan wives. So two co-wives, they're two Rabbanan co-wives. So you just do Yibum or Chalitza to one of them, and the other one goes free. Good. Here goes into the issue about women that are deaf mute. Deaf mute also is not a bardas, and their marriage is only rabbanan. If someone marries chareshes, so she doesn't have das to accept kedushin. So it's only kedushin rabbanan. We're gonna have a lot of this coming up. So same thing. He married two charashot, one man, and two wives. That both of them are charashot, and they're both rabbanan. So if he dies, so both of them are falling to the brother to yibum. Why? Because they don't have das to accept kedushin. They're like they don't have das. So
we
same
didn't
way.
get to the word katan.
No, the chen shtei charashos. Period.
Mm-hmm.
So they so far a case of two wives, either both of them were ketanos or both of them were charashos.
Okay.
How about the next case? Ketana v'chareshes. He had two wives. One of them was a ketana. One of them is a chareshes. Both of them are drabanan. Both of them are drabanan. But the Maisa were different kinds of drabanan. One is a ketana. One is a chareshes. So the lacha is here. Ein bias achas ne'em poter serasa. Here, one taking care of one of them is not doing yibum to one is not going to part to the other one. Why is that? Both of them are drabanan. If we said by drabanan and it works, why not over here? So Rashi tells us we don't know which one he wants better. He has two wives, both of them are rabbanan, but is one connected to him more? Is that even though both are, but the rights neither one are married, but they still be looking at which one is more married on a rabbanan level. So does a person want the wife who's a ketana more than a chareshes or not? That's how the Gemara seems to look at it. Which one is a more binding of a marriage? Both of them are rabbanan.
I think the katana, because she's going to be a good guy.
Very nice. The Gemara says that's far. Do you have any svara to say the other way?
No, she's also going to have gadah. She's going to have das.
Yeah, she'll become, and the chareshes will not. So that's as far that maybe the ketana, he wants the ketana more than the chareshes. Is there any svara to say that the chareshes is more bound to him? Any reason?
She's never scream at him.
Well, she's a good guy.
Yeah, it doesn't make a difference. She's a dollar. Yeah, but she has a dinner with ketana. She has no das. She has no das. She has no das. So the Gemara is going to say as far the other way also. But you're right. You said a nice svara that that's a svara to say that he wants a ketana more. But then we would say that if he did the yibum to the ketana, then the chareshes could go. But the Gemara says either way. The Mishnah says either way we don't know which one he wants. It could be that as a balanced svara, a kan. Maybe he wants the ketana more. Maybe wants. So which one is a better marriage?
We never spoke about this. His das,
We never had such an one.
Make his choice right here.
He died already. He died.
Oh, he died.
Again,
That's right.
a person had two wives and he died. And now the question is, they're falling to the brother, for Yibum, both things Rabbanan. Are they considered equal co-wives? Or is one the main wife and the other one is not so much? And if you do Yibum Achlitza to the not such a main wife, is not going to part to the main wife. Usually you have no such issue because he married. So they both, the Raisa. Here's a case of Rabbanans. And here we look more at which one he's connected to. Which one does?
Which one is first?
Right.
The Yevam.
No, there's a Ruvain had two wives, one a Chareshes, one a Ketana, and he died. And now they both fall to his brother Shimon.
Right, I'm saying he's the Yevam. The Yevam is going to take one of
The Shimon, yeah, and he took one of them. So usually, if you have someone has two wives, you do Yibum to one of them. The other one goes free.
I thought it doesn't really matter what he wants most, as long as he takes one of them.
Yes. Now we're talking about Ruvain. The first time, not what Shimon wants. The Ruvain, the one he was married to. Which one was he more married to? Which one was the Keres Abayis? Which one was the main wife? Another one is a secondary wife.
There was affected.
Never was affected till now. Till now it was not affected because if a person's married, he's married, and it doesn't make a difference if he likes one more than the other one. They're both married. But here, that the whole thing is Rabbanan. The Gemara is looking at which one is his primary wife and which one is his secondary wife in a way that the secondary wife's Yibum is not going to part to the primary wife. That's what it seems like.
Pashtus, if we had if someone was married to a Gadol and a Katana, and you did Yibum to the Katana.
So it should not be right. And you brought this up a couple of days ago that the Yibum to the Ketana shouldn't part to the Gedola because with the Raisa that doesn't exist. There is no marriage over there, and there's a Gedola waiting over there. She's high the Yibum with the Raisa.
You did Yibum to the Gedola.
So then the Ketana goes free.
Okay.
I think it might even say that over here. Yeah, it's going to say it right away. It's our Mishnah right here.
Okay.
The next part. Pikachas.
There it is. Those are two Gedolas. Okay, but one's Deraisa and one's
right. Now it's going to be.
One's Deraisa and one's
one is Rabbanan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here's a case of Pikachas v'chareshes. He has two wives. One of them is Pikachas means that she's the Baradas, Bas Das. The Chareshes means he's an Enishmei ben Abedabra. One doesn't have Sefer. So Pikachas is the Raisa and the Chareshes is Rabbanan. He has two wives, one the Raisa, one Rabbanan. So Bias Pikachas Pateras Chareshes, then Bias Chareshes Pateras Pikachas. Mamash Batleib Yaakov said that the Raisa Yibum will part the Rabbanan wife. But the Rabbanan Yibum, one part of the Raisa wife. And the same thing, Gedola Ketana. He has the same thing, the same idea. He has two wives. One is a Gedola, one is a Ketana. So the Gedola is the rise of the Ketana is Rabbanan. B has Gedola, Pateras Ketana, and B has Ketana, Pateras Gedola. If he did Yibum to the older one, so the younger one, the minor goes free. If he did Bia Yibum to the Ketana, which with the rise is nothing, so it doesn't part of the Gedola because with the rise there's still Yibum, is Zika, which was not taken care of. That's the Mishnah.
And so the only case that we don't really understand is the Bekech and the Katana. Because we don't
Which one?
know.
Which one are we on?
The Harash, whatever it was called, not the B, I said Bekech, I didn't mean that, the Hareshas and the Katana.
That over there, both are Rabbanan, but we're looking over there, which one is the more beloved wife? Which one is the more primary wife? Over there, neither one, because we don't know which one. We have a suffix, who's the main
It's going to
one.
be a suffix.
Right. By the other cases, the Gedolah Ketana, one's the Rice, one's Rabbanan, nothing to talk about. But they're both Rabbanan, which is the main one, which is the secondary one.
So all we know is that there's a suffix if they're equal, or we sure know that they're not equal.
I think the Gemara is going to say we don't know. Rashi tells us, they take
If
Rashi
they're
at least
equal,
for now.
it should then-
Rashi says, Lo Yadinan. Lo Yadinan Bein Yichalei, we don't know which one he wants. Which one is more of his wife? The one that he more wants, that's the more of his wife, and that's considered the primary wife. And
But
if
that implies that they're not equal.
that each one has a quality the other one doesn't have. Like Chaim David said, the
Oh,
Ketana
I
has a
see.
quality that one day she's going to grow up and she'll be a regular.
Why don't we
woman.
say that with a blonde and a brunette or something? That's different.
There's no difference.
There's no difference. But there's a difference.
This is a reasonable difference that people might. But we didn't see the other side. We didn't see the other side.
Yeah, no, next.
Chaim David said it's not that the Ketana is
Yeah,
more
I'm
primary.
with David.
Is there a side that the
Because
Charesh
das, eventually there'll be das there.
Okay, let's wait if there's another side the opposite way. The Gemara continues.
There's no problem. It's worth it.
Maybe the Russia doesn't argue so much.
That's what he
That's just
said.
it.
Yeah, he said.
But Melissa said she knows how to argue also.
She knows how to argue too.
The Katana will get there.
The argument of Haresha is even worse.
You can't explain anything to her. The Chareshet, you can't talk to her, you can't explain. Okay. The Gemara is surprised that it says such a thing that the Charesh, it says here, in the first case, let's say, it says two Charesh, right? It said in the Mishnah, if you have he has two wives. So it says that the Bia Chalisa, one of them will part of the other one. First step by Ktanos, the Mishnah started with two wives, the water Rabbanan. So whatever one you do, it's a good one also.
Yeah.
Everything. But the most
Same with the Haresha.
right?
Same with two Haresha.
Right, two Ktanos are doing the same thing, two Charashas. He has two wives that are equal, so then whatever he does to one, like. But they're more surprised that there's such thing as Chalitza. She's a Cheresh who's doing Chalitza. That it says, Biyasa Chalitza, Sashalachas Men Pateres. That means that they could do Chalitza, Chereshes could do Chalitza. That's the Gemara's wonder. The Cheresh is pas Chalitza, but not a Mishnah. Cheresh and Echlatz, we had this. Cheresh and Echlatz, for Cheresh and Shecholza, for Choletzes Menakata, and Chalitza Subsula. That if a Cheresh did Chalitza, or Chereshes did Chalitza, or it also talks about a katan. The katan did to a man who's a katan did chalitza. It doesn't work. Pesach points out that the Mishnah
We had that earlier.
we had that earlier, right? And the Gemara that didn't ask on the ketana, the Mishnah talks about ketana first. Two ketanas, two charoshos, and the Gemara we asked on the charosha doesn't ask on the ketana. So points out that it seems to go with the gifts that we were pointing that we said last time that by a ketana who did chalitza, it is good with the Yevon. We had a question of the gifts in the Mishnah over there. So this Gemara sounds like only a problem of a Charesh doing Chalitza, not a problem of a Ketana doing Chalitza. So that's the Gemara's kasha. So the kasha again, how could it say a case of Charesh doing Chalitza? There's no such thing. The Mishnah in the beginning, when it spoke about the Ketana, it said two cases. Biyasa or Chalitzasa. Shalachas men poteres. It says both. Either Yibum or Chalitza of one is good for the other. Then it says V'chein shtei Chareshes. But of course, understand there's no Chalitza by a Chareshes. So it just means if they did Yibum. If they did Yibum to one of the Chareshes, it covers the other one also. But there's no such thing as Chalitza to a Ketana. And the Gemara. That's simple. That even though it says Chalitza, it's not going on that. But Rava Amar, or Rabba, they say Rava Amar, Afilu Tema Chalitza. I could tell you the Mishnah, even in the case of doing Chalitza by a Chareshes. Even though the Mishnah before said Chareshes cannot do Chalitza, and here it says if Chareshes could do Chalitza, I could reconcile. Kan v'Chareshes meikora, kan v'bikachas v'akach nischashem. If she's originally, from the beginning, she was a Chareshes, that's a case where it's one case. The other case is that she was once upon a time a Pikachas, and she became a Cheresh. What does it mean? Chareshes meikora, ki echida o, achinapa. Pikachas v'akach nischashem, lo, they makva b'kriya. When she got married, what's the case over here? Reuven and Shimon. Reuven had two wives, Charoshos, and he died. and now they're falling to the brother. Is it possible to do chalitza? Could a chareshes do chalitza? So it says, if the original marriage to Ruvain was when she was already a chareshes, so the whole marriage is rabbanan. So the yibum also could be by a chareshes also. It means usually a chareshes cannot do chalitza because it's falling to her a yibum deraisa. It means if a man married her when she was a pikachas, a man married her, the first brother, Reuben and Shimon. Reuben married her when she was fine, and that's a kedushin deraisa.
Yeah.
And then when he dies, she falls to yibum deraisa, and now she's a chareshes. So now the yavam cannot accept a chalitza from a ketana, from a chareshes, because it's not a good. There's no such thing of a chareshes to do chalitza. But if the marriage to the first brother was already when she was a chareshes, so the marriage also is only rabbanan. So then we'll allow the chalitza of the chareshes because it's also rabbanan. If the only way that she got married was only on rabbanan level, then we don't mind that. Then we can allow chareshes to do chalitza also. That's Rava's teretz, and the Gemara is going to go at length to say it's not true. The Gemara is going to come out that it's not true. At the end of the day, it's going to be now tifta the rabbi. That even if it was only kedusha and rabbanan, also there's no charesh that cannot do chalitza. That's what I think the Gemara is going to say. The truth is that most of the Gemara is going to be the rest of the Gemara today is going to be a mishnah coming up, a long mishnah on Daf Kuf Yud Beis. The next parak is called Cheresh. The next parak is called Cheresh. We're now in parak Beishamai. Parak 13, parak 14 is going to be Cheresh, and it's a long mishnah on Kuf Yud Beis and Beis. And we're really learning about a mishnah which I didn't do so well yet, but we'll do it together. And here the Gemara is going to try to derive this halacha. Are we talking about a Cheresh according to Rabba, this teretz, Rabba, he's saying that if the marriage was only Rabbana, then a Chereshes could do chalitza. That's what I ought to look for. So the Gemara says, is that true?
Excuse me, what is the word da'al?
Coming in. Kiechi da'ol, it's the opposite of nafak. Nafak means to go out.
Oh.
Kiechi da'ol, hachi nafak. Just as she came in, she also goes out. But tikachas v'achach neschasha, lo, temako bakriya. But if when the marriage was when she was a pekachas, then to do a chalitza now, then it's not a good chalitza even with the evet, because we said kriya, we said not only because it's not about das. We said the reason is because she can't say the psukkah. She says kacha yeyasel ish, and even though we say that the kriya is not makeh, but it has to be roy labila. It's not roy labila, bila makeva, so she can't talk, so then it is makeh, and therefore the chalitza is not good. But if the whole marriage is rabbanan, the first marriage of the brother, the brother that died, his marriage already says it good. That's Rabba's chiddush. That sometimes the chareshes could do chalitza. First white line, Eisvi Abaye. So we're out to knock this down. The chareshes may cover bas chalitza. That's Rabba's big chiddush. That if she was originally married at Rabbanan level, that she was a chareshes, so then she could do chalitza. Is that true? But not. Here goes the Mishnah. Shnei achin. What's that for me on? Okay. Shnei achin, echet pikach v'echet cheresh, nesuin shtei achin, nechrios, echet pikachas v'echet chareshes. Two brothers married to two sisters.
One
brother, there was a good match. Pikach to pikach, and cheresh to chareshes. There was two brothers. One was a pikach, one was a cheresh, and they were married two sisters. Each one got a common shidduch. The pikach got a pikachas, and the cheresh got a chareshes. Not sisters, nachrios, not married to, not sisters to each other. Two brothers and married to two women, and each one married his kind. Meis cheresh bal chareshes. The husband of the chareshes died. So what's happening? Should we figure out a little bit?
We have a pikeach. He's a brother.
Two brothers, yeah.
So the brother is a pikeach.
So the wife of the chareshes is falling
to the pikeach. Okay, and it's not a co-wife. They're not sisters, right? They're nachrios.
They're not sisters,
so
right?
His wife.
So he does yibum. There was a marriage over there. The marriage wasn't a great marriage because he was a charesh. She was a charesh. The whole thing's rabbanan.
Oh, when we said the chaim, so then it would have to be.
What's for chaim? We didn't say for chaim.
Oh.
We said two brothers married two women. Pikach married a pikachas and a cheresh married a chareshes, and the cheresh died. The cheresh who was married to a chareshes, he's the one who died. So his wife's falling to yibum to his brother. Mayas pikach bal pikachas. What should that other man? Each one is telling you who he is. So it says kones.
Yeah.
He should marry her. Does yibum.
Yeah, but according to this, he could do chalitza also because the whole thing was about one anyway in marriage. The cheresh to a cheresh club.
So I think that's going to be the Gemara's point. I think Moshe got it. I'm not sure. I don't know the Gemara myself. I think the Gemara is going to say Moshe's there. But looking at this point, and you're saying that why does it say only Kones? It says Kones. Why does it
say Kones?
Right here, Kones?
What was that be right before the Mayasa Pikech Baal Pikech?
What should he do?
Oh, what should the Pikech Baal Pikech
do to his sister-in-law, the
Kones?
Chareshes? Kones, he marries her, but Masalotzi Yotzi. After he marries her, he could divorce her. Even though usually a Chareshes might not be right. The marriage.
It
doesn't say Chalitza. It just says he can go
because you can't do Chalitza.
Why can't he do Chalitza?
Because you can't.
Because she's a Chareshes. Even though the marriage was, even that's the question. Even though the marriage seems to be a marriage that was originally also only Rabbanan. So that's going to be the most question soon. But anyway, the Mishnah continues. Meis Pikech, but have the opposite case that the Pikech died. Meis Pikech Baal Pikachas. If the Pikech died, what happened over there? He died, and his wife's falling to Yibum, to the Cheresh. What should she do?
It says
she can do Chalitza.
Could she do Chalitza to him? He's a Cheresh.
He's a Cheresh.
We said he can't do Cheresh to him.
He does not do nothing, he just sticks
No, we saw right away. It says Ish. Ish comes up a parsha. That was we had a couple of days ago. Right here, we brought the Mishnah that it said a Cheresh and Echlatz. Yeah, right away. Cheresh and Echlatz. That's no good. So there's no chalitz over here. So what does the cheresh do? Kones. She's stuck. She's stuck. That this woman, she had a good husband, but then her husband died. Now she goes to the brother-in-law who's a cheresh, and he can't give her a get. He doesn't have
because he doesn't have the ability.
He doesn't have the ability to give a get. Okay, well, we're not to get emotional, but as far as
don't get emotional.
It's not good. It's not fair.
Maybe okay. They'll take into consideration when they get married. This is taking the chances when they get married. You tell them, the brother. You tell her if your husband dies and you fall into a cheresh, you're in trouble. So she has to make the consideration. Okay. Anyway, we'll get a doctor. Everyone's going to be fine. And but anyway, this is the thing. So my love, b'chareshes meikara. Doesn't it sound like the chareshes here was originally born a chareshes? V'katani kones in. And it says kones. This is Moshe's kasha. How come on a chareshes it says kones? Why doesn't it say also a possibility of doing chalitza? Kones in, choletz low. Isn't that a kasha? So the mark gets out of it easily. Low. It doesn't say that. The pikachas v'achkachas chashes. It's only going to be a problem if the marriage was a marriage of Raisa when she was still pikachas. Now she's a chareshes. But if the marriage would have been a drabanan, then you would have been able to. You could do chalitza. So Rabbi gets out of it. Tashma, another kasha. All the same mission over this. All the same paragraph coming up. Shnei achen pikchin nisu and shtei nachuyos, achas pikachas v'achas chareshes. Here, both brothers were okay. The first case was a brother, one yes, one not. One was a pikach, one's a cheresh. Here, both of them are pikchin. Two brothers pikchin. But they married. One of them married a chareshes. Achas, and also not sisters. Achas pikachas v'achas chareshes. Okay, the case is good. Two regular men married. One of them married a regular woman. The other one married a chareshes. Meis pikach, bala chareshes. What if the pikach dies? The Pikech dies, so his wife, who's I'm sorry, the Pikech, both of them are Pikchen, but the Pikech Bala Chareshes died. The one who is married to Chareshes, he died, and the wife is falling to Yibum to the brother. Any problem? Mayasa Pikech, Bala Pikachas. What should the brother do to Pikech? Kones. He's taking in a Chareshes. And he can marry her. If he wants to, he could give her a get.
He can't do a chalitza, is what we're saying.
He can't, because she's a chareshes.
So he does yibum, and then he can divorce her.
And he could divorce her. Now, usually, I'm not sure that you could divorce a chareshes. Here it says, we'll see more as we go. I'm not holding cup. Here it says you can divorce her also. Okay.
Divorce.
Right, but usually, okay, fine.
Typically, it's like a case he can do divorce.
That's what it says over here. I know that there's not. I know that it's not simple, but we'll leave it as it says until we have our problem. So what does it say over here? So kones masalot yotzi. Any conscious yet? Anybody have any conscious? As far as Asugya is talking about if chareshes could do chalitza.
No, because we said he shouldn't do chalitza. He should do.
Chalitza, but we're giving him permission to divorce.
Yeah, he marries her, then he divorces.
That's the question. How does it work?
What happened over here again? I'm sorry that I'm losing.
The Pikech married to a Pikachas is the one who has to do something, and he can't do it to the Koreshes. So he can't do chalitza because she's a Harash.
She can't do it.
But if she would have been Kedushin Rabbanan in the first time, that's the whole point. We want to know if she was only married to Rabbanan. That's Rabba's point, that if she was only married to Rabbanan, she could do chalitza. Right? What are we looking for? What's the subject of the day? If if she was married to the first brother with Rabbanan,
There was no.
so then you would be able to do chalitza. So maybe has to be the cash again. Same thing you asked before. Maybe over here also. He says kones. The meis pikech. About the opposite case, meis pikech bal pikachas. If the pikech died, whose wife is a pikachas, what's happening? His wife is falling to the other brother.
The flourish.
Mayasa pikech bal chareshes. What should the other husband do? What's the problem? No issue. Just because she has a wife who's a charesh doesn't change anything. That's a regular case. A woman pikachas is four. Everyone's a pikech. The three of them are pikech. Two brothers pikech. This woman's a pikech. Just because it happens to be a charesh and that doesn't change anything. Oh, cholos omiyabim. Here he has a choice of chalitza also. In the first case, he didn't have a choice of chalitza. My lab, the who pikeach meikara, he nami b'chareshes meikara. The Gemara just wants to find out, is it a chareshes meikara? That's the case we're talking about. Could we say, if you find a chareshes meikara, then it's going to knock off Rabbi? Because he says chareshes meikara could do chalitza. The whole marriage was Rabbanan, so he could do chalitza also. And the Gemara thinks over here, there's some kind of hekesh, that since the case of the pikeach and the chareshes, the pikeach was always a pikeach. He didn't become a pikeach, he was always a pikeach. So to the chareshes also, and it says kone sin chol slow. The same concept as before. But over here, the Gemara has more reason to think that it's going to be meikara because it's similar to the pikeach. And the pikeach is meikara, so to the chareshes is meikara. But the Gemara is not impressed. No, me the area hakadisa it doesn't mean anything just because the pikeach was meikara. So to the chareshes, no, doesn't mean that. And the chareshes and the chanami, if she would have been a chareshes meikara, she could do a chalitza. Well, the kasha can be the same kasha over and over again, as far as I remember. That we're just trying to find is a muchach that is even a chareshes meikara. The whole kedushin is Rabbanan, and still it says don't do chalitza. Rabbi said you could. That's going to be the kasha, and the answer is going to. They'll try to say that no, it's talking about she was a pikachas, but if it would have been a chareshes, could be.
What is the answer?
Midi, I don't remember the exact translation. We looked it up a long time ago. That's what's midi area.
No, but
I
the
forget.
whole sentence.
I mean, who said like what does one have to do with the other one? How could these? This is the way it is. This is the way it is.
Oh,
that's always the reply when you say, "Isn't it going to be comparable?" No, this is this and this is that, and it doesn't mean. Eisvei. Also, more kashas from the same mission over there. Shnei achim, two brothers. Echad pikech v'echad cheresh. Nisu and shnei achayos. Here's already sisters. Achas pikachas, achas charesh. Same as before, but here are sisters. They each got the good shidduch of pikech to pikachas and a cheresh to chareshes, but here they're also sisters. Meis cheresh bal chareshes. Cheresh died. He was married, and what's happening? That his wife, the Chareshes, is falling to Yibum. Is there Yibum over there?
Each one married the Pikech married the
Pikachas and the Chareshes, but they're sisters.
But they're sisters and brothers.
Right, the brothers, sister.
Right.
And now the Cheresh died. So here, there's no question because it's a marriage daraisa. I mean, she's real. The Pikeach. Mayas pikech bal pikachas. For sure, there's no issue of Yibum because it's his wife's sister.
Right.
It's a real wife's sister. It's a real wife's real sister. Right. So that's not a problem. There's no Yibum at all because it's Erev, no question. Happened on the opposite. Meis pikech bal pikachas. What happened over here? That Pikech died, and his wife is falling to Yibum to his brother, the Cheresh, whose wife, not a real wife, but a wife to Rabbanan, is a sister. Right. So it's a chos isha with Rabbanan. Means there's a Rabbanan standing in the way over here. Similar to our mission with the Ketana, but here is a Chareshes. So what should he do? Mayasa Cheresh bal Chareshes. Mostly his sister forget that he can't keep his wife. Why can't he keep his wife? Because that it's a real Yibum falling to him. It's a real Yibum falling to him, and this Chareshes is standing in the way. But he can't stay with his wife. He can't stay in his wife, the Chareshes, because it's a Chos Kukasa. True. The yevamos falling to him is real, and his wife is not real. His wife is only Rabbanan, so she's a chos kukasa. He can't stay with his wife.
Can't stay with his wife
because she becomes a chos kukasa. But the rice, look at it with the rice. With the rice glass is the woman is falling. The sister-in-law is falling to Yibum, and he can't take her sister. He happened to have been married to her with Rabbanan, but Rabbanan doesn't make a difference. He wasn't married to her. So he can't stay with her because achos kukasa. You tell him your wife is not achos kukasa. You can't stay with her, so you have to give her a get. How about the sister-in-law? He can't take the.
She's an Ish's.
Now what is again? Who's
she's the sister of his wife?
The brother.
Who died over here?
The other woman,
Meis Pikech Bala Pikachas, the Pikech died. And the Cheresh now is the question of the Cheresh. There's the Cheresh brother-in-law, the Yavam is a Cheresh to a Pikachas sister-in-law. So what should it? So what should be?
So he has to divorce, right?
he has
Right.
to divorce his
And he
wife.
and he can't do Yibam either.
He can't do Yibam because it's his.
Achos Gushasa.
Right.
And he
Because
can't
it's
do
divorcees one with Rabbanan, with the Raisa he could take her. He could take his sister-in-law with the Raisa. But with the Rabbanan he can't because he divorced his wife. So it's Achos Gushasa. So he can't take her either. He can't take Yibam and he can't do Chalitza because he's a Cheresh. So she's stuck. So
Achos
she's an
Grusha,
Aguna.
so it goes forever.
Wow.
Right.
So
Oh, unless she's gonna die. When his wife dies, so then we'll be able to take the sister-in-law. But there's no Yibam ready. Probably not. But
so
the case is she has no way out. She's
forever.
stuck. She has no way out.
Off outside.
So what's the more kasha? So what's the more want to show from this? That also is talking to the Gemara. What does the more think from this? Is it talking about the more wants to know again? We're talking about when we say cheresh, is it a cheresh meikor? Is it a pekech meikor? So what are we going to say? I'm not sure if the Gemara is asking the kasha that if you say that you could do on Rabbanan marriage, you could do a chalitza or a cheresh. Is that part of the kasha over here? I'm not. Anybody?
If on a Rabbanan marriage, if it's a Rabbanan marriage,
It's a Rabbanan
then
marriage.
you don't need a get. Is what we're saying.
The Gemara just seems to be asking, the way Rashi explains, the Gemara just asking, are we talking about there were always a chareshes or not? When it says a chareshes does it mean always or not? And that's just we're trying to prove all the cases. Not that the Gemara sees any din over here.
Mhm.
So here's the Gemara. If you think that it's talking about that he was not originally a cheresh, would he be able to give a get? It says here that where are we going on? That it says he gives a get. Mayasa cheresh. It says mostly shishto beget. But here's the case. It says that the cheresh has to give his wife a get. Could he give her a get? But nan is charsha yotzi nishtatis lo yotzi. If the woman became a cheresh, he could give her a get. Going to divorce her and she's a shota. We don't want a shota going around without being married. So we stuck it onto this husband. He's the one who has to keep her. He married her when she was okay, and now she became a shota. So we don't want her to be divorced. So he's not allowed to divorce. Shota, he can't give a get.
Right.
So that's the most kasha. How could it be that it says? How could it be over here that it says that he gives his wife a get? We said the cheresh, bal cheresh has to be motzi sishta beget. Is that true? He can't give a get. It must be that he was originally a cheresh and the whole kedushin was only rabbanan, and that's why we allow to the whole marriage was rabbanan. If the marriage would have been a deraisa, a man who was a fine man, he married and he became a cheresh, he can't give again because he has no now is no das. But if he married only on rabbanan level, then he could give again. So this case must be a cheresh meikora. The fact that it says over here that he could give a get, it must be as a cheresh meikora, and if that's true. So we want to put it all together, like it must be the same. Aren't we talking about the same cases? If the case when it says cheresh, it says cheresh me'er chereshes, and happens to be he was a cheresh meikora. So won't we say also that the chereshes also was meikora? And if that's true, if in this case we proved that the case of the sister, this part of the mission is talking about that the chereshes from beginning, so the case of nachrios also, in Cholislo. Back to the original kasha, we're just saying that don't tell me, before you pushed me away, you told me that it's not talking about chereshes meikor, it's talking about she became a chereshes. But this part of the Mishnah shows that the whole Mishnah, the Gemara is not proving anything in this case itself. Rashi says the Gemara is supposed to go back to the first two kashas that we asked, and each time he said no, it's chereshes. She was a pikachas meikor. It's not true because this case means a chereshes meikor. Ishtek. He had no answer over here, so it seems to be a kasha. The Gemara says more. The Gemara is going to end off with the kasha, that the kasha is a good kasha and it's going to be wrong. But the Gemara continues with another proof. Yosef, when Abai came to Rav Yosef, all this was Abai's kasha. And Rabba didn't have what to say. Rabba. And then we came to Rav Yosef, my time of Toshve Meha. Why not ask him Why did he ask him this kasha? That he could have answered you. Even though it's the same Mishnah, one case is about sisters, one case is about foreigners, but he could say not the same case. He proved that the case of the sisters is talking about when it's a charishas meikara. But the Nachriyas, I still could say it's talking about that as pikachas first. He should have asked him a better kasha. You should have asked him for the next kasha. It says over there also in the same Mishnah. When we get to the Mishnah, we'll be more familiar with everything. It says over there, Shnei achin chereshin, as soon as Shnei achayos pikchos. Oh, here the case is just this one is easy. I think that it's the Shnei achayos chereshin. The first is Shnei achayon chereshin, two brothers. We didn't care what they married. Shtei achoyos pikchos, or shtei achoyos chershos, or shtei achoyos achas pikachas v'achas chareshes. That's the first case. That the husbands are chereshin, no matter what wives they married, they can marry both of them a pikchos, both of them a chershos, one and one. Doesn't make a difference. Or shtei achoyos chershos, or the two sisters were chershos, and we don't care what husbands they had. They're still in the shnei achin pikchin, or the shnei achin chereshin, or the shnei achin echad pikach v'echad cheresh. No difference. If the two wives were chershos, or if the two husbands were chereshin, what's the halacha? Elu pturos men chalitza or men yibum. Why is that? Why is that? Why they put it from chalitza and yibum?
Because they're sisters and brothers.
Oh, because they're sisters. You're right. That's it. There's a whole case of sisters. They're sisters. So there's an erba. So there's no chalitza and fine. The moyin the chrios, but if they were not sisters, although all this is so much sisters, but if they were not sisters, then yichnosu, then they do yibum. If they want to, they could divorce. What's the case over here? If they were originally pikeach and then they became a cheresh, and it means the marriage was the raisa, that a cheresh who became a cheresh cannot give a get. His marriage was the raisa, and now became a cheresh, he cannot divorce. It's talking about the original chereshin. I don't get all the details, but in general, that's what it said. That we proved that the case is talking about that they were charoshes meikora, and even on that, it also says you cannot do. So if we take just outside to zoom out for a second, what did it say? That even though Rabbi had a chiddush that a charoshes cannot do chalitza, but if the marriage was to the first brother was minabanan, so then you could. We just proved it and said not. And just a couple of more lines just to say the point about what's better of the two husbands. I found these two people, a father-in-law and a brother-in-law, with a son-in-law of Chana, and they were makva kvasabashis, that they were makil kehilos in the shuk, and from this they were learning in public, and people gathered around them. And they said, Haditnan, Katana Bachareshas. This is the case. Katana Bachareshas. Katana Bachareshas and Biasachas Ben Potera Serosa. That we don't know which one is a primary wife, which one is a secondary wife. Hanimil the Nafla may Achir Pikeach, the Loyadina ni Piktana Nichole, or Bachareshas Nichole. That's when the brother was a Pikeach, and we don't know which one he wanted more. Why? Why are the two studying? Because Ibiktana Nichole, the Asir Chaldeh. This is what Chaim David said. Chaim David said that the Ktana is more primary because eventually she's going to become a Baldeya. Oh, here we're waiting for this, but Bachareshas Nichole, why? The Gedolahi or Basbiyahi. That she's a Gedol, and when he has relations with her, it's called a Basbiyah. A Ktana, she's not called compatible for relations because she's a Ktana. So it might be a person, the first husband, he preferred the Chareshes, even though she's a Chareshes, but at least he can have a normal relation with her. But that the Gemara says, the Chiddush was that only because the brother that died was a Pikeach. But if the brother that died was a Cheresh, which one did he rather have? That there definitely he wants more because it's his type. He's a cheresh, she's a chereshes. They have compatibility, and even though the Ketana is eventually going to become a gedola, no, you'd rather have the chereshes who's a basbiyan. That's what somebody said. They were saying that over there. Rav Nachman found that they were saying that in the shuk over there. And Rav Nachman argued, "I feel enough cheresh. No, we don't know that it could be even though it's Bas Mina, he's the Cheresh and she's a Chereshes. Maybe he wants the Katana more than the Chereshes. So even that, the din would be that we don't know. And Chalitzasa, Biyasa, Meyachas man, doesn't pat the other one. Stop over here and
Where are we at? Ketzad?
till Ketzad, right? Till Ketzad. Yasher koach, as good as it came out, then we'll do better. We'll do better tomorrow. Try to figure out the empty spots.
You have all night to prepare for that.
Okay, Yasher koach, everybody. Thank you. Yasher koach, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Shavua tov. Shavua tov.
So what,